I'm Kevin Coleman with the Silo Post at an information session about the Portsmouth plant near Piketon. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Jeremy Davis. I'm the site lead for Portsmouth, and we've got some posters here to kind of update folks on where we're at. So, obviously we're cleaning up the Portsmouth Gaseous Diffusion Plant. It's about 3,700 acres. Our primary focus is in this area, inside Perimeter Road, where the former Gaseous Diffusion Plant is. And, with input from our regulators, our community, we developed this comprehensive cleanup strategy, which includes deactivation, demolition of the facilities, placement in our on-site waste disposal facility you see up here in the corner, as well as soil remediation from our underground contaminated groundwater plumes and trichloroethylene. So here's some pictures of the 326 building when we were doing that demolition. That material gets size reduced and taken to our on-site waste disposal facility, which this is a picture of that material going into the cell. You'll notice it's placed in engineered specified locations with engineering specifications for compaction. It's a double line surplus cell with 2 layers of high density polyethylene as well as 3 foot of compacted clay. And then we're also...
About how thick is the, I presume, plastic or rubber?
It's 80 mil polyethylene, high density polyethylene.
2 times 80 mil?
Yeah, 2 times 80 mil.
So
and then
how?
It's a little over a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
And then we have our soil excavations that are ongoing, and that's where we're excavating that contaminated soil, and we're using that to place that material into the cell. So that debris goes in 2-foot layer, and then there's an intervening layer of that impacted soil that goes in because you're trying to prevent subsidence in the future when you put the protective cap on top. So
you're excavating the, often hear it described as plumes.
Yes, groundwater contamination plumes of trichloroethylene. So it's groundwater that's contaminated with trichloroethylene, which was a solvent prevalently used during the Cold War era. So the reason for the excavations is looking forward to the future for land transfer. So you'll notice, some of those contamination plumes are in this area and in this area as well. So we're remediating that soil so we can provide a contiguous landmass for the future. So we've already transferred parcel 1 over to Sodai. That's been purchased by Oklo. We've also transferred parcel 2 to Sodai, which is 220 acres that you see over here. These parcels were never used during operations, so they were relatively easier to do the environmental baseline study on and transfer first. And then we're proceeding with parcel 3 later this year to transfer that to Sodai. And then parcel 4 will be sometime in FY26. So as a part of our mission as well, we have the depleted uranium hexafluoride deconversion facility. So we have a legacy of depleted uranium hexafluoride cylinders on site. Those are being processed through this facility, and they generate a stable form of uranium oxide and then a hydrofluoric acid product that gets sold as a commodity. So that mission goes a little bit longer than the deactivation and demolition mission, but it's also to rid the site of these cylinders so that those areas can be reclaimed for future use as well.
And where did most of those cylinders come from? Some of them Soviets, Russian?
No. Most of these cylinders were generated as a part of the plant operations, and then were some cylinders that were brought to Paducah and Portsmouth from the Oak Ridge facility.
Were there some Soviet-era Russian?
I'm not aware of any cylinders that came from Russia or anything like that.
Okay. You hear all sorts of things. And
sure.
And not everything, some things are exaggerated.
Yeah. I know there was, the weapons to warhead process that was done, but I'm not aware of any cylinders there from Russia.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
So how far through the process and how much longer will it take?
Okay, that's a good question. So we're done with the 326 building demolition. We're getting ready to start the 333 demolition. So we have about 14 years or so left in the deactivation and demolition.
How long?
About 14 years.
Okay.
Yep. So, 2038 time frame. So,
and then, these are the super huge buildings.
Yeah. So these are about 30 acres each.
Yeah.
And then this mission goes a little bit longer. Zach, what's your life cycle right now? 2036. 2036. Yeah, we're 2032. I said 2038. I'll have to correct that. So 2032. So.
Okay. And how can people learn more?
So, a great opportunity for you to learn more is the portsdemo.com website. You can go there. There's outlet for a lot of the environmental data that we obtain, and then there's also links to our historical webpage. There's a link to our annual site environmental reports as well. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep. Have a good one. Yep.